What is up, you guys? Blaze here, Blue Chip Athletic Club. We're talking phase 1 regen day today. We don't really talk about enough how important it is for you to make sure that you're resting your body, recovering appropriately. So what we're going to do, a little bit of mobility. We'll do some foam rolling, kind of get the body prepped and ready to go so we can get after it next week and continue to progress. So what you guys are going to need, if you don't have one already, I recommend grabbing yourself some sort of a ball. You can use racquetball. I have a lacrosse ball here. Some people use baseballs. It kind of doesn't really matter. I think the lacrosse ball is the best. Plus, I got a ton of them, and they're about $1, maybe $2 if you go and grab some online. But what we're going to do is utilize this and a foam roller. So foam roller of your guys' choice. Go ahead and grab one, and then we'll get this thing rolling here too. First things first, though, what I want to do is I want to start off with my ball. If I have access, this will be kind of a full follow along video as well. So you guys will be able to kind of keep up with me. But we're going to foam roll the feet, or excuse me, lacrosse ball and roll the feet. So go ahead and pop your shoes off. As long as you're in a space that you're able to do so. Grab yourself your lacrosse ball, and then you're just going to throw it under your foot. Now, let me get a little bit closer here and I'll talk you through it. So big keys for this, I call it rolling evolution. Your ball is going to essentially be centered. Imagine like these are all my toes here on my fingers. You got to use your imagination a bit. I'm going to try and go pointed pressure under the balls of my feet for like all of my toes here. And then I'm going to roll up and down the long part of the foot. So again, here's what this looks like. I'm going to be here. I've got pointed pressure all the way up and around under the balls of the feet, working that there. And then I'm going to go down the long part of the foot. And you should feel some tightness. Oh boy, no matter how kind of much you stretch and roll, as people end up holding a lot in their feet. So we're going to roll here, decide however long you want to do it. In this video too, as I'm kind of working through it with you, I will probably find some tighter spots and spend a little bit more time, effort, and energy in there. So feel free, if you guys end up using the full follow along the video, just click, pause, do whatever you need to do on that part of the body, and then you can switch over to the other side. So we're then going to go other side again, a little bit of pointed pressure, work through. Oh, nice long roll along the foot. I got a nice foot crack right there. It was super nice. Anything that we're doing today too with the roller, you can try and do with the lacrosse ball as well. Sometimes it's going to be a bit of a better tool getting into the shoulders against a wall or something like that. So utilize what you got available to you. You're not going to need your shoes. If you want to pop them on, you can. I'm going to leave mine off because it's a nice spot for me to take my ball and throw it in to keep it from rolling anywhere. Next, I want you guys to grab your roller. We're essentially going to start feet to head in our rolling, and I'm going to talk to you about some rolling fundamentals. So I'm kicking out my feet, start with my calves. I'm going to roll out my right calf to start. When I do this, I want to start from joint to joint. So I'm starting here just above the ankle, and I'm going to go until just below the knee. But what I want you to think about is I want you to think about like segmenting your legs. So when you do this, I'm going to be here. I'll start to roll. If you want extra pressure as well, stack your feet, a little less pressure. You can put your foot off to the side in there, or you can even plant it in the ground, whatever you kind of need to do. I'm going to get up on my calf, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll. You'll see me roll my hips side to side here. And notice how I'm not just going up and down frantically here over the calf. Roll them side to side. What you'll see is there's some tightness that probably exists along the side of the muscle, not just along the kind of long span that a lot of people end up spending a lot of time on. So I'm going to go side to side, work that for a bit. And then after, 5-10 seconds or so, I'm going to roll down about an inch, maybe 2 inches. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll side to side. And what this does is this allows you to kind of explore the tissue a little bit more, and then you'll be able to kind of find some tighter spots and spend a little bit more time. So again, after 5 or 10 seconds or so, you'll roll down a little bit further, And then you're going to work all the way until you get to that next joint in our foam roll, which again is going to be the knee. Normally, when I do that, I kind of segment into 3 or 4 kind of spots. I'll work my way up, and then I'll work my way back down. So now I'm back kind of mid calf, and I'll work down to like mid lower calf, side to side, and then down towards the ankle. Again, after you finish one side, switch over. If you need a little bit more time, effort, and energy, feel free. But this kind of foam rolling, I'll call like principle, is something that we're going to use the whole time that we're working. So again, roll a little bit side to side, take a bite is kind of the way that I like to describe it, and then you'll continue to go. So then upper calf here, and then I'll work again my whole way back down. Oh boy. Nice. All right. Next, we're going to go top side. So this is going to be into the shins. This can be kind of uncomfortable. So what I want you to do is I want you to kind of meet yourself where you're at. This program's definitely about doing that regardless of who you are. But don't let this kind of be something that ends up making you buried, and realize that there's always points and opportunities to improve. So we're going to roll the top of our shins. We're going to start 1 foot at a time. You can do both at the same time. So I'll kind of show that variant after. I want you to plant your hands into the ground here, and I'm going to kick my right foot out nice and straight, and I'm going to work my left side. So my left leg, it's right kind of under my knee. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll that up and back here. And I'm going to feel that along my shin. Now, I'm not hips square to the ground here. Notice how I kind of cock my legs and cock my hips out to the right, because what I want to do is I kind of want to be along the side of that shin, right along that tibialis there, along the front. There's a lot of tightness that ends up happening in there if you're jumping, if you're running, playing basketball, things of that nature, and that'll get you. This move, a little bit tougher to do our foam rolling kind of principles with. If you want to test it out, you can. Hard to kind of roll the hips in this position, but give it a whirl. Next, we're going to switch. Now again, hands planted in the ground. Now my left leg's kicked out. My hips shift a little bit off to the left. And then I'm going to roll up that tibialis again. You can try and rock side to side, but to be honest, it's a small kind of area, not a very big muscle that you can work there. And then if you'd like to try to roll both at the same time, you'll be knees on top of the roller here. Sometimes I even like to lay back and flatten my feet. Let me turn to the side so you can see. My feet here are going to be flat, and then I'll kind of sit back here and get a little bit of a stretch on the side. And then if you want to, you can kind of roll real slow using your hands. It's kind of like a brace here on your knee or on the ground. Oh man. And tops of the ankles can be super tight. So how do you scale this? The goal, you can always have something that you utilize between your butt and your legs. So there'll be times where we've done moves like this where we'll throw like a pillow or a blanket or a towel kind of here right between the legs. You can kind of pinch it in there if you're trying to sit in this kind of aggressive position here. Sometimes it aggravates the knees or the ankles. So feel free to do that if you'd like. Next, we're going to move on. Foam rolling our quads. The quads, pretty simple here. You're going to lay down. I got one leg. Let me turn to the side just a smidge. I got my right leg here on the roller. My left leg's to be off to the side. And I'm going to kind of lay down my forearms in the ground until I'm here. Again, I'm starting just above the knee. Now what I'm going to do is our foam rolling principle. I'm going to roll the hips one way, roll them the other way, and then I'm going to take a bite. Holy mother of God. And now I'm a little bit lower towards the hip. Then I'm going to roll one way, and then the other way, and I'll take a bite, and I'm going to work all the way into my hip. Once I get there, what I like to do is I like to bend my leg when I go back down. Whoa. So I'm kind of engaging that hamstring and then working all the way up into the hip pocket and then all the way down towards the knee. So work, pull, work whatever you need to. We'll work one side and then we'll work the other side. Now I got my left leg. If this is too much pressure for you, the things that you can do, you can put both legs on the roller. You can plant that non-working leg, whatever you kind of want to do. You'll foam roll one side. And then again, when I get kind of halfway, I like to pick this foot up. Oh boy. And you'll work side to side for the whole duration. So we rolled calves, shins, quads. Now we're going to work into our hamstrings. Foam roll in the hamstring, very similar to the quad. What I want you to do, start the foam roller just a little bit above the knee. I'm now going to put the leg straight out. I'll roll the hips side to side. And again, I'm just kind of working that hamstring. If you want more pressure, stack your legs. Putting more weight over the foam roller is always how you're going to end up getting a more intense experience, making it more deep tissue style versus Swedish style massage, if you will. Look, you got your own masseuse. After you work down and back, we'll switch. Left leg now, all the way down. Damn, I needed this, to be honest. And then all the way back. While you're here on this leg, what we'll do is we'll work into the glute too. Might as well be efficient. So that foam roller now is going to come under my left glute. My left foot is coming on top of my right knee. I'm going to make this kind of figure four shape. I'm going to drop my hips down to the left. And I'm working that left glute, and then I'm going to roll up and back. Move your hips around. Do a little exploration. My outer butt cheek is sore. So that is what I'm getting in here. And then after you've spent a little bit of time, go ahead and pop down. And then you'll switch. Now I've got right butt cheek, right foot on top of the left knee. And then I'm rolling here. Oh boy. All right. Good deal. Good deal. All right. After that, what I want to do is I want to work probably my least favorite thing to roll here, which is going to be my lat. I'm not going to mess around a ton with the lower back. If you guys want to roll the lower back, you totally can. But I think this will probably provide you a little bit more of an intense roll and relief moving forward. So what I'm going to do, my feet may be off the screen a smidge, but that's okay. You don't need to see them. I'm going to set myself up into December of the blue chip calendar. That joke never gets old. You'll then, I'll call real estate to your foam roller. You know, what I want is I want the most of the real estate, I want it behind you. So I only have a little bit of space here in the front. I've got my right arm down on the ground, facing kind of away from me, most of my real estate behind me. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize my body. I'm going to come down like I'm going to do a push-up, and then I'm going to come all the way back up like I'm looking at the sky. And then I'm going to come back to that kind of neutral position. And then again, what do? We take a bite out. I'm going to roll just a hair down towards my rib cage. Then I'm going to come down like I'm going to do a push-up. And then I'm going to come up all the way. Good God, my lats are tight. And then back in here, you should be feeling this again in your lats. Oh. Then down, then all the way back up. And you'll take a bite and you'll just continue to work until it gets a little bit uncomfy there by your rib cage, which for me is happening kind of right now. So what I'll do is I'll start working the other direction. Little bite out. Oh man, and the key, keep that right arm nice and straight, because you'll be able to get into the lat real well and you'll roll the whole way. And then again, what we do to one side, we do to the other. So now I'm facing other way, hand is nice and straight, rolling out. And then I'm setting up myself here. And then you'll kind of just work through Again, all this is at your own pace. Do what you need. Oh, if you have one side that's a little tighter than the other, that's okay. You are not alone. You're not weird. That happens to everybody because everybody's got a little bit different side to side, a little bit of asymmetry. Oh boy. And you'll just kind of work through the full pattern. So once you're done rolling left side, right side lats, we'll get into our roll here of our biceps, triceps, kind of some shoulder stuff too. If you have access to a bench, I'd say go ahead and grab it. If you don't, this can be done on the ground, but it's a lot easier with a bench. I'm going to grab my lacrosse ball here. I find this is a little bit easier. And then I'm going to roll my arms down to where my bicep is in contact with the ball. And I'm going to be here on the bench. Next thing I'll have, I'm just going to kind of roll around and do some exploration here of my bicep. Sometimes I'll get all the way in towards the shoulder pocket and I'll give myself a little bit of this action here. And I'm going to work the whole bicep along the way. When I've had enough, I can flip over to the other side. Again, bicep, we're doing a little exploration, arms kind of straight out. We're able to kind of get in there. If you want to get in towards the shoulder, oh boy, you can do that. And then after we've done bicep on both sides, we'll do tricep. So now my palm is facing up. I'm now going to have my arm on. I'm going to roll the tricep here. Oh, feel free. Notice how my hand is kind of rotating. My hand's rotating so I can kind of hit different parts of the muscle. I'm utilizing my palm as like my indicator. So I'm like thumbs up now. I'm thumbs kind of to the side. I can even start to go kind of thumbs to the other side. I'm able to work through. Then I'll work the other side bicep, or excuse me, tricep. Working for the full. If you're not tight doing this, I envy you at this point. Oh boy. Okay. Working through that. If you'd like, again, you can lay down, throw this on the chest, and kind of work some circular patterns there. Super helpful. And last but not least, we're going to do a little bit of wrist stretching, and then we'll kind of call it a day for our regen day. So our wrist kind of mobility flow, what I want you to do is you'll pop down onto the ground. I want you to take your right hand, place it into the ground. Your left hand is going to be here kind of next to your wrist. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to try to throw most of my weight into my right side, which is my flat palm. And I'm going to make big circles here around the right side. I'm going to go 4 or 5 times in one direction and then switch the other way. After you're done on one side, obviously you work the other way. Left hand now in, your right hand kind of keeps you stable, and then a nice big circle here. And then you work the other direction. All right. Next, I want you to bring your pinkies together like you're looking for a handout that's never going to come. I want you to plant your hands here into the ground, and then I want you to lean back and rock. Notice how my palms are kind of coming up a little bit. That's okay. You should feel this stretch here along the forearms. Feels pretty good. Come on, baby. All right, one more move and then we'll get out of here. Next, I'd like you to take your right hand. I want you to plant your wrist here into the ground and really push a bunch of force into that wrist. So I'm going to really push down in this hand here into that wrist that's upside down. And then I'm going to act like I have my lacrosse ball or like a stress ball here in my hand, and I'm just going to close and open. And notice how I've got a lot of weight here in this hand, close and open, close and open. And you'll do that, 5-10 times, and then you'll switch. Bunch of pressure, bunch of weight in there as much as you can take. This other hand's just kind of here for balance. and then you'll squeeze, open and close, open and close. All right, and that is what we have for you guys. Project Poolside Regen Day Phase 1. If you guys would like to get a little bit of a sweat, I'll encourage you. You can pop onto a rower, go for a slow run, any of those types of things. What I don't want you to do is I don't want you to work too hard, because we're going to be getting after it the rest of this program. So again, take this time, regen the body, let your muscles rebuild and repair, and we will see you guys in the next training session. Peace.